Coming up on Jamaica Magazine.
Jamaica is now in the best shape as compared to any other period over the last 50 years. To achieve economic independence.
In today's program, we also look at initiatives to strengthen the operations of the security forces with a $20 billion expenditure.
This will bring us to a reasonable level and begin to put pressure on criminal organizations.
Stay tuned for the details. I am Theodore Henry.
Mommy?
Yes, sweetie?
How can I change my world?
You can change your world
by being polite.
Good morning.
Good morning. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Miss.
With just one action.
We can change the world with acts of random kindness.
Stay kind, act kind, be kind.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, March 28. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has signaled that he intends to closely monitor the management of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information while it remains under his office's oversight.
For the next few months, I'll be spending some time with you, meeting with you one-on-one, meeting with the various agencies, just to ensure that the ministry is functioning and properly mandated and missioned.
Mr. Holness made that assertion on Wednesday as he met with the ministry's executive management, as well as the heads of agencies and departments. The ministry is now under the direct supervision of the Office of the Prime Minister, with day-to-day running being administered by Minister Carl Samuda.
I'm confident that after the review, the ministry will be stronger and far more effective, and that once again we will place education at the center of the country's attention.
The fire that broke out at the Riverton landfill in St. Andrew yesterday morning has been contained. That confirmation comes from Audley Gordon, the Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA. He says 3 units from the Jamaica Fire Brigade assisted the agency to control the blaze.
I'm told it's spontaneous combustion across that area. It is confined. It's a confined area, so the fire won't escalate.
The NSWMA was alerted to the fire after smoke was seen rising from a section of the landfill. In other news, government will be starting the new financial year without an overdue bill for street lighting to the Jamaica Public Service Company. $2.1 million was allocated in the third supplementary budget approved by the House of Representatives on Tuesday.
Based on this letter that I have dated the 4th of March from the JPS, after this $2.1 billion, the government of Jamaica will not have any arrears whatsoever with respect to street light to the JPS.
The third supplementary estimates represents a reallocation of expenditure from the current fiscal year where those monies have not been spent. Among the entities benefiting from the move is Tax Administration Jamaica, which has been assigned an additional $577 million to clear arrears to suppliers of goods and services. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives also passed a resolution on Tuesday that raises the ceiling of the Contingency Fund for natural disasters from $100 million to $10 billion. The fund was established under Section 13 of the Financial Administration and Audit Act for use in natural disasters. In addition to raising the ceiling, the Financial Administration and Contingency Fund Resolution 2019 facilitates the transfer of $2 billion to the fund for the next fiscal year.
Those who are affected by natural disasters tend to be disproportionately those who are from the vulnerable sections of society, socially and economically vulnerable. And this blanket that we're providing will be for their benefit and indeed for the benefit of all Jamaica.
The act currently allows the finance minister to draw down the funds at his discretion, but the portfolio minister says the Financial Administration and Audit Act will be amended to ensure the funds are only used for natural disasters. The Contingency Fund currently has a balance of $94 million, which is being held at the Bank of Jamaica. The cultural economy in Accompong St. Elizabeth has been boosted with the dispersal of 50 grants to small businesses in the community. The grants total $1.25 million and recipients are involved in agriculture, honey production, jewelry making, carpentry, craft making, and shopkeeping. The checks were handed over during a recent economic opportunities workshop put on by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Community members were also exposed to entrepreneurship training in the areas of marketing, product enhancement, and efficiency.
And that is what these economic opportunities workshops are about. They're about preparing you, the people of Accompong, to earn and build prosperity from your awesome and rich maroon cultural heritage.
And finally, out of many one people is the design for the new Parliament building to be constructed in the National Heroes Park. The winner of the Houses of Parliament design competition was announced on Wednesday at an awards ceremony. The design also copped the People's Choice Award. The Grand Veranda walked away with second place, while Ubuntu placed third. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the journey to realizing a new building has been long, and the facility will not just be a monument.
The Parliament building is a working building. It is not a waste of taxpayers' money. The building is necessary to improve the governance of the country.
The winner will now spend a few months finalizing the design up to April 2020, after which the contract for construction will be put to tender, with the work expected to start by 2021. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
If you no want pop down and fenke, you fi burn mosquito and run with dengue. So no make water cycle in open container. For them we read up under the danger. Usher them out, run them away. Zap them with the zapper and down them with spray. Use mosquito net and mosquito screen. Protect your household, now make them come in. If you no want pop down and fenke, you fi burn mosquito and run with dengue.
A message from the Ministry of Health.
To facilitate growth with equity, government will implement 6 tax relief measures amounting to approximately $14 billion. Money is also allocated to support the agriculture sector and social protection programs. These and other initiatives will come on stream in the new financial year, which starts April 1.
After almost 20 years of consistent tax increases and no new taxes last year, it is now time to give back. It is the right thing to do.
This give back will benefit business operators and landowners in the form of 6 tax relief measures amounting to approximately $14 billion. They're aimed at increasing business and economic activities. The measures were outlined by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark as he opened the budget debate on March 7. It was his first budget presentation in his capacity of managing the country's finances. Among his announcements, that as of April 1, the annual general consumption tax GCT threshold will increase to $10 million, up from $3 million.
This, Mr. Speaker, will mean that approximately 3,500 small businesses that currently file GCT will no longer be required to do so.
Also put forward was the abolition of all ad valorem stamp duty, to be replaced by 2 flat rates.
These stamp duties impede access to finance for all, but particularly micro and small businesses. They discourage business activity.
For future property owners, the transfer tax on financial instruments has been reduced to 2%, down from 5%. The transfer tax threshold applicable to the estate of deceased persons will increase to $10 million from $100,000.
This will allow for greater mobility of assets which is consistent with our drive for economic growth.
Dr. Clark announced that government was also abolishing the asset tax payable by non-financial institutions and the minimum business tax payable by all registered companies. Both take effect this year.
So, how is the government able to afford this $14 billion give back to citizens? Well, that's because the inflow of revenue is outperforming targets, and this trend is expected to continue, surpassing the financial target of $142 million by March. Revenue at December 2018 was $107.68 million ahead of the $88.98 million projected. And this is because of the country's positive performance under the Economic Reform Program and the conditions of its precautionary standby arrangement with the IMF.
Let's now take a look at the $803 billion 2019-2020 budget and how this will be financed. According to Minister Clark, $644.2 billion will come from revenues and grants. Of that amount, $575.7 billion will be earned from existing taxes, $59.6 billion from non-tax revenue, $130.9 million in bauxite levy, $3 billion in capital revenue, and $5.6 billion in grants. To supplement these, the central government will borrow $102.7 billion, 8.9% less than for fiscal year 2018-19.
Within the 2019-20 financial year, the government will pursue new and continue existing programs to create different layers of growth with equity.
Jamaica is now in the best shape as compared to any other period over the last 50 years. To achieve economic independence.
As of December 2018, Jamaica met all 22 structural benchmarks under the IMF program.
With 6 months to go, so far, Jamaica has had no need to draw down and borrow funds from the IMF.
In addition, Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio should reach a record low of 96% by March 31. And to strengthen our fiscal responsibility framework, a fiscal council will be established.
Among the measures to create economic opportunity is the allocation of $1.8 billion in loans to micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs. The funds are to be administered through the Development Bank of Jamaica.
Finance is the oxygen of business.
To stimulate more economic activities, over $2 billion will be spent to rehabilitate rural farm roads, expand irrigation infrastructure, and continue the development of the Spring Gardens Agro Park. In addition, $795 million will be used to upgrade rural water supply, such as catchment tanks, gutters, and solar pumps in schools and public institutions.
This allocation represents an approximate 8-fold increase. 8-fold increase from the $100 million allocated in 2018-19, reflecting the priority that this government places on rural water.
Education is also part of the development plan, and to that end, the Finance Ministry is allocating $192 million to the Global Services Skills Project. This will see more Jamaicans being trained to benefit from higher skilled areas in the BPO sector. Dr. Clark also introduced new benefits for persons accessing student loans. Eligible borrowers will get a 2% reduction in interest rates, but only those who are in good standing with the Bureau. Payment on new loans will be made to the most outstanding balance first, while individuals who are employed full-time to charitable organizations will receive a 10% cut on their loan balance.
We are strengthening social protection in the 2019-20 budget.
Among the benefits to be delivered are a $600 million allocation to increase pension payments to retired government employees, as well as $25 million to complete and finalize the 6 codes of practice and attendant regulations under the National Disabilities Act. There is also $1 billion to implement an island-wide social housing program. Meanwhile, over $14 billion in funding to the Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH will assist beneficiaries with back-to-school and transportation grants, as well as cash benefits and support of the school feeding program. On the matter of safety and security, $3.4 billion will be used to continue social intervention, conflict resolution, basic infrastructure upgrade, and youth development programs in at-risk communities. These will be done through the Citizen Security and Justice Program and the Jamaica Integrated Community Development Project.
All of these initiatives are aimed at making the process of growth more equitable and inclusive, and they complement our other initiatives that are focused on moving Jamaicans from poverty to prosperity. Increasing access to financing for all, public and private opportunities for microcredit, credit union reform, pension reform, small business support, all provide avenues for everyone, including tertiary students, NGOs, to participate in the growth prospects in Jamaica. This, Mr. Speaker, is growth with equity.
The Ministry of National Security will use $20 billion to improve infrastructure, purchase vehicles and other resources, plus carry out social intervention programs. It's all in the estimates of expenditure for the 2019-2020 financial year.
Government has made a significant commitment to the Ministry of National Security in the 2019-2020 national budget. The ministry is getting an increase of $7.6 billion on its capital budget of $20.2 billion. This will be used to boost operations of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the Jamaica Defense Force, and the Department of Correctional Services. The larger portion of $72.4 billion will go towards administrative expenses under the recurrent estimates. This brings the total allocation for the Security Ministry to close to $93 billion. With $20.2 billion to spend, the National Security Ministry will be improving infrastructure for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Department of Correctional Services, and Jamaica Defense Force. It includes funds to bolster coastal security, improve the working conditions for members of the JCF, and general outfitting of equipment.
This will bring us to a reasonable level and begin to put pressure on criminal organizations.
Let's look at the distribution. $2.9 billion will be used on infrastructure development. That includes completing 2 barracks and renovating the Manig training camp,
allowing for more efficient response as required.
The infrastructure budget also provides money to construct and improve correctional centers. $1.2 billion will also go to the JCF to construct an autopsy suite, expand the Caribbean Regional Law Enforcement Training Center, and complete the design for a joint security post in Montpelier, St. James. This is in addition to the construction and renovation of 60 police stations across the island.
Stations you're looking at for significant improvement in this fiscal year: Lucy, Half-a Tree, Spanish Town is a new station, Black River is repair, Santa Cruz repair, Brownstone, Clarkstone, Kingston Central, Constant Spring, work has started that already. Bog Walk, that will be done by Jamaica Social Investment Fund.
In addition, the National Housing Trust is building 20 stations in its housing development areas, while the Jamaica Social Investment Fund will be undertaking repairs to 8. The mobility of the security forces will also be bolstered with approximately $2.5 billion. The units will be outfitted with an assortment of patrol vehicles and bikes.
Right now we're going through a phase where we need the high mobility, so the mobile reserve had to get a lot of the vehicles in terms of, doing their work in the high crime areas, which is not just the SOE areas, but places like Clarendon, St. Catherine, and Westmoreland.
And that's not all. $11.8 billion has been set aside to purchase general and specialized equipment for the Coast Guard, JDF, and JCF, as well as a surveillance aircraft.
This, Mr. Speaker, will allow Jamaica to improve its border security and stem the flow of illegal weapons and contraband, which fuels organized crime.
To strengthen measures that will lead to an increase in the conviction rate in murder cases, the ministry will be spending $489.7 million. This will be used to install 292 CCTV cameras and equipping the Forensic Lab and Firearm Licensing Authority with tools such as bullet tracks and engraving machines.
We are renewing the entire radio network system, the contact center, which has fallen apart, and seeking improving the fingerprint system upgrade, and of course, the closed-circuit TV system, which should be fully functional by the end of September.
At the same time, further strengthening of legal framework will come from targets under the Justice, Security, Accountability and Transparency Project. They include construction of an annex at the Forensic Science Laboratory, provision of training and equipment to fight corruption, as well as installing an electronic case management system. And $1.4 billion will be spent to improve behavioral changes through conflict resolution, social inclusion, and safety among citizens in targeted communities. This is being done under the Citizen Security and Justice Program 3. Among the objectives for the upcoming financial year are conducting outreach activities for at-risk youth, training parents, carrying out situational crime prevention projects, and providing vocational skills and job training to hundreds of participants. The Ministry of National Security, employing a holistic approach to crime fighting by empowering citizens and building the capacity of the security forces.
Up next, a recap of the Blue Mountain Coffee Festival held recently at Newcastle.
The approximate 45-minute shuttle drive from the University of Technology, UTech, to Newcastle didn't quell the excitement to enjoy the offerings of the 2019 Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. By the time the shuttle inched onto the military training site, the potent scent of coffee stirred the senses. The Ministry of Tourism promised everything Java. There was coffee-infused products for the skin, the home, and of course, the tummy. Coffee-laced performances too. Families, locals, and tourists. Not even the intermittent showers or hovering mist could stop them from grabbing up as much coffee products as available from the exhibitors.
Today we have nitro cold brew coffee. It's cold brew and then put on pressure with nitrogen gas, and then it's served on tap and has a very smooth texture and tastes very smooth and nice in your mouth. and customers have really loved it today. So we want to show proof that we can. We want to expose what we're doing, our skill set, to lots of different people. And here we have signs, we have ways to point to the menu so that hearing people can communicate with us, and we like customers to feel good about what they drink.
We represent the small farmers, those people who have half an acre, 5 acres. We have some up to 15, 25, some beyond that, but mostly it's small farmers. But we represent about 7 to 10,000. What we have on display is our Growers' Pride, and you see our logo, which tells you what you get in every sip, which is love, care, and pride. And it's small farmer coffee, and we want you to support it, because it's the small farmers of Jamaica who produce 65% of the coffee that we produce. We want to produce more, we want to produce better, we want better prices, we want the farmers to earn more at every stage of the value chain.
We have our Jamaican sandwiches that we offer, and of course we have the Jamaica Blue Mountain, because that's a must because we're in Jamaica. Of course we want to support the Jamaica coffee farmers because we are in Jamaica and we're all Jamaicans. All the employees are actually Jamaicans, so why wouldn't we be here? Because it's Jamaica, like you said, and we would like to lend our support and to be a part of the coffee community.
We are here to just show what we have within this part of the world, and that of course you don't have to go to Montego Bay to get to enjoy yourself. You can do it just here with the things that we have, the natural stuff, the culture, the things that we make, the natural wines by way of processing. So you don't have to add rum to something to get a good feeling or to get a good taste, or you don't have to buy a very expensive wine to get wine, because I mean even coffee can make wine. We have a tourist site where we do tours, so much more, and we want people to know more, so we want to showcase the culture and all.
We're focusing on food service at the coffee festival. So we have paper products, so we have biodegradable containers, paper boxes, baggers containers, paper bags, paper straws for restaurants and cafes. We also do Stonely coffee, we distribute for them. And we have a tanning oil, coffee-infused tanning oil, which is really good for people who want to get brown. People like it, you know what I mean? Most of the tourists that come, they like it. It has a nice coffee smell, but it's also all natural, so you don't have the chemicals that you can't pronounce in there. So it's a really good oil. They also have a natural SPF in there, so you're not going to get totally burnt in the sun. So it's nice if that's what you're looking for.
I'm Donna, I'm from St. Catherine, and my sister here, Joy, is with me, enjoying the day. Even though the rain is coming down, we don't mind, we're having fun. The coffee, definitely coffee, and the music.
Seeing everything, enjoying everything. I mean, their performance is taking place, so it's going to be good.
Oh, it was wonderful, lovely, meeting new people.
I love it. I love coffee. I'm a coffee supporter, and I always come back.
Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett promises a bigger, better 2020 staging of the Coffee Festival, including a potential tour across the country.
Anything that is good for Kingston, anything that is good for Newcastle must be good for Mandeville too, and must be good for Montego Bay, and must be good for Westmoreland. And so we are looking at how we can move these coffee festivals across the island and to have a number of them in a given financial year.
As we close today's show, we ask that you stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JISnews. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Theodore Henry. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.